just frankly were like funny style. And I was just like, okay, and I see it, but because again, I have so many relationships in the space, I'm cool with a lot of people that are major collectors of theirs. I was still able to kind of move with impunity, which was cool. Whereas a lot of other people would have been boxed out just because ABC person didn't like them or rubbed them the wrong way for whatever reason.
Okay. Andrew, do not kill me. I'm just realizing that this whole time we were not live.
That's
We're
cool.
talking and we were recording, but we were not live. So, for anyone that missed our initial beginnings, I will be uploading the video on YouTube. Uh, but just so you know, we are now live.
There it is.
Um, so, what resources or books or mentors do you recommend for lawyers considering this path?
Book, I would say the $10 million Stuffed Shark by Don Thompson. That gives you the best insight into all the facets of dealing in the art world, at least superficially. And then when you get into the space, you learn innumerable other lessons. Mentorship can come from anywhere. I would attribute a lot of my success to people like Ray McGuire, who's on the board of the Studio Museum in Harlem, uh, who I met in Hong Kong. Really good brother, helped me out a lot. Nate Lewis, obviously. Um, my boy Derek Adams, they're both artists in New York. Reggie Van Lee, who's also on the board at Studio. Um, there have been so many people that have helped me, and I've been fortunate to meet, other black people in the space, which was historically very rare. But I think that the New York Fine Arts crew of brothers that are doing it, ancestors, so many dope black women. I'm not just limiting my commentary to that. I'm just saying that's my tribe. Those are my people. I love all people, but that's my crew,
That
right? So
that's how you got to where you got, and
yeah,
that's your story. You got
that's
there
the story.
with a crew of black individuals, and I don't see any problem with that. If you were ushered into the space with anybody else, I'm sure you would have acknowledged them.
Absolutely. Oh, and you know what? I cannot forget Jessica Stafford Davis.
Oh,
Agora Culture is her company, I believe. She used to host Art on the Vine in Martha's Vineyard in Edgartown. And the whole Stafford family, they are just terrific people. And without her, I also would not be here because I wouldn't have met Nate.
okay. Well, then there we go. And we've heard Nate over and over. So does Nate have a Instagram or a business that people can look at? I know you said that he's an artist, correct?
Yeah,
So
Nate's my brother.
where can we find Nate's work?
Yeah, it's at uh, Nloois. So his name is Nate Lewis, but he spells it like phonetically on Instagram. But he's all over the place. He just had a show uh, with Archie and who curated the show, and Melissa Josephs, and I forget who else. There's maybe two or three other artists. It's a group show, but it opened the other day in Milan. Um, he's had a number of museum acquisitions over the last couple of years, which has been terrific. And his career is just like skyrocketed into the next dimension. Um, and I want to take this opportunity to point out that museum acquisitions are really important because what distinguishes, you know, many artists from the elite is being part of the canon. And being part of the canon is being part of art history. And historically speaking, I think less than 1% of museum acquisitions were like African American. And I believe that that number is starting to shift. But for a black man in 2023 to have, three or four museum acquisitions over the span of, a year or two is crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
that is wild.
yeah, yeah. So I just want a big shout out to Nate.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give a hand clap to Nate for that one, okay? He's doing big things on behalf of himself and the community at large. So definitely someone who, if you are interested in this kind of work, you may want to reach out to. Now for you, Andrew, what is next? What is next for Andrew S. Jacobson and Balmore Art? Tell me more.
Yeah. So what's next for Balmore is really focusing on how to bring the art-centric dialogue and education into a more global conversation with lifestyle. So my peek under the tent, and I don't care who hears it, because if you try to, jock my style, you can catch up. I'll just switch up again. But yeah, I think that there's a relationship, if you're going to art fairs, right? You go to Miami, Basel, you go to Switzerland, whatever. It's a jet setting lifestyle. You're on and off of planes all the time. You're staying in hotels. It's a lifestyle. And with that comes a lifestyle brand. So I think focusing on deepening relationships with lifestyle brands like hoteliers, with airlines, with alcohol brands, which we already have a relationship with fashion houses, and kind of the convergence of that in both sponsorship and partnership, leading to more, upscale events for anybody, but particularly for Black people that, either collect, want to learn about collecting, what have you, to be able to come, enjoy, let their hair down, have a good time, and also to do panel discussions to help people gain more information. So we have some panel talks coming up at the Krieger Museum some more. That's, I think, becoming a series at this point. Also, Congressional Black Caucus, we have some stuff in the works for that. So kind of these marquee events that are already happening, nationally, we're just anchoring on to that from the art perspective.
That's amazing. And I'm pretty sure I saw on your Instagram that you have an event coming up. Am I correct?
Yeah. So that's one that we have in the works. I'm keeping it under wraps at the moment until we get all the details finalized, but you'll be one of the first to know, and rest assured you'll have an invitation.
Absolutely. Because I will hit 95 South. I love coming down to the DC area. I actually worked in DC in the Washington Bar Association and I think it's the National Black Law Student Association, and I can't think of, it's also one other association that throws monthly happy hours down there. But either way, I was welcomed with open arms from all of the attorneys down there when I was working for the government. I was actually clerking down there, coming from Philadelphia, clerking in DC, and then going back to Philadelphia. And I made so many friends. So for everyone who didn't hear when I said it earlier, Andrew is actually now the chair of the Washington Bar Association's Young Lawyer Division. So yes, we are sitting here again with the chair of the Washington Bar Association's Young Lawyer Division. And again, this is, when I say Washington Bar Association, we're talking about Washington, D.C. and not the state of Washington. I just want to clear that up. Lastly, I like to end out all of my shows with a rapid fire question section. And so during this one, I am going to ask you to either choose art advisor or attorney for which one is better. Okay. So for instance, the first question is, which job has the best salary and benefits? Would you say an art advisor or an attorney?
It depends.
Okay. See, now you have to choose one. You can't say it depends.
I have to choose one.
Best salary and benefits.
I'm gonna go with art advisor.
Okay, art advisor.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, you didn't define benefits, so I'm not gonna interpret it as health insurance. And there are many fringe benefits that are associated with being an art advisor. And top art advisors, I would argue, are more handsomely compensated with less liability than lawyers.
Absolutely. Okay. Best work-life balance. Art advisor.
Art advisor.
Okay.
I go back and forth on that.
Attorney's gonna lose on that one almost every time, but I won't say always, because there are some careers that you can go to with your JD that attorney is pretty much, work life wise, is they have the same schedule as some other people, but not for, I would assume not for Art Advisor. Okay,
Absolutely not.
career growth and advancement. Which one would you say, Art Advisor or attorney?
It's interesting. Attorney.
Okay, okay, so partner track is definitely. Would you say?
I mean, what do you define career growth as?
Do you think that there's more growth and potential in being an art advisor or being an attorney? An attorney, I
Growth,
guess.
but growth in what way? Like personal development, like
Oh, okay.
knowledge
More,
base, like
no, more so in like how far can you go in that career?
there's no ceiling. So art advisor.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. And what would you say is the peak of art advising? Would that be museum acquisitions or?
No, I would say like somebody like Larry Gagosian, who owns Gagosian Galleries. Like he can step off a plane in any city, assemble 10 to 15 of the wealthiest people in said city, and everything on the sheet of paper at the dinner is sold before they leave the table.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where you're heading, Andrew. Okay,
I'm willing.
I already know the answer to this one, but I'm going to go ahead and ask because I'm going to ask everyone these questions. Work culture, which one is better, art advisor or attorney?
It depends.
Really?
It depends.
I swore you would say work culture of an art advisor.
It depends because if you're an advisor, you're generally working alone, right?
Uh,
So
okay.
whatever your culture is probably the preferred culture for you. But art can be really incestuous and vicious, right? So if you get like the example I gave earlier with the unnamed people, right? If I had been a person that was less favored in my community, that person could have easily just clipped my career just by deciding that they didn't like me, and other people being intimidated or fearful of that person may follow suit, right? Kind of like a herd mentality thing. Fortunately, I had deep roots, so it's like, what are you going to do to me? But if you don't have that, it can be very difficult. Whereas, as a lawyer, it's more, I would say, like institutionalized, right? So, like, there's a certain decorum that people follow, but it can also be a horrible.
To follow.
Yeah, supposed to right. It could be a horrible experience on either side of the table, but yeah,
Okay. Okay. And lastly, job security. Which one, art advisor or attorney? Which
attorney.
one?
Yeah,
Attorney.
that's why I sat for the bar. That's why just to cover all the bases.
Yes, because at the end of the day, we still got it. All
Yeah,
right. Thank you so much for sitting down and speaking with me, Andrew. You have been a joy to work with. And I am definitely going to be on the lookout for the invitation to that party.
absolutely. You pull up.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we hope to see you next time when shift happens here on Life After Legal.